Welcome to our webinar. While we wait just for a few stragglers to join us, please can I ask that you open up the tab to the bottom right hand side, the red tab there, and log in, and that will enable you to ask any questions of my team live, and they'll be answered live as the presentation unfolds. We're pretty much full, so let's get on with the presentation. This presentation is a free presentation for online marketing for local businesses, presented by myself, Martyn Lenthall. Just a very little bit about me. I've been doing SEO and internet marketing and digital marketing for over a decade now. I'm a regular contributor to the websites of CBS, Fox News, NBC News, ABC News in America, and I have on occasion been asked to do interviews for Sky News. So it was once said of me that I was a nationally recognised Google expert. Not my words, but words that I often repeat. But anyway, enough about me. So hello and welcome everyone. In this webcast we're going to share how local business owners just like you are absolutely crushing it online, utilising internet marketing and social media to find new prospects, stay in touch with their existing customers and build deeper relationships along the way. So how are they doing that? They're utilising something we call Web 2.0. Now don't worry, this is not going to be a presentation filled with jargon. So before we go on to talk about Web 2.0, let's talk about what 1.0 is. You see, back in the day, when Web 1.0 is where you went to a computer to get information out of it, it was like a one-way street. There was no way to put anything in. Then came along Web 2.0, and it actually allowed people to put information into a computer, making it a two-way street or a back and forth dialogue. And this is a wonderful thing. With that, people can now leave their opinion on things, on reviews, on products and on businesses. The truth is, marketing has shifted away from a one-way broadcast to a multi-point conversation. Have you ever gone on Amazon and before you bought something you look at the user rating and read what people are saying about it? If in the majority of cases the reviews rank the product 1 out of 5 stars, would you be more or less likely to purchase it? You may actually want to look at what other people are saying about it and what are the most helpful reviews and comments. With people able to put information online, it could increase your company value, it could increase your positioning, and it will make it so that when people do find your company online, they feel like they already know you, like you, and trust you. But you have to put some things in place in order to make that happen. You see, with Google, there are over 3.5 billion searches every day. This means that there are people in your area looking for information about your business. With that, there are over 3 billion monthly local searches. That means 20% of all searches contain a local term. And let's face it, if you're looking for a pizza place and you live in Bristol, you're not looking for a pizza shop in London. You're going to be putting Bristol pizza in order to find what you're looking for locally. With all these people searching, why are still local businesses struggling? There's a reason for that. Local businesses are seeing more competition for customers, clients and patients than ever before. A recent Small Business Administration study reports that local businesses are seeing the largest increase in competition in years. Since 1990, large corporations have eliminated 4 million jobs and local businesses have built 8 million new jobs. The number of local businesses has increased 49% during that time frame, and that's nearly 12 million new businesses that are all competing for the same customers. But it gets worse. Recent statistics show that even after coming out of the hard economic times over the past few years, many local businesses are struggling to survive and many will go out of business in the next 3 to 5 years. And to make matters worse, recent statistics also show that most local businesses are relying on traditional methods of getting clients. And those traditional methods have stopped working. Think about it. Only 18% of traditional TV campaigns generate a positive return on investment. Why is that? Because 90% of people can skip ads, and they do. With Virgin TiVo and Sky Plus, You can skip the adverts to get back to your program. Then we have newspapers. Let me ask you a question. If you are advertising in a newspaper, do you even get the newspaper yourself? Chances are you don't. And that's because 24 of 25 of the largest newspapers have experienced record declines in circulation in the past year. If you're advertising in the newspaper, let me ask you this. Where would I go to look if I needed your products or services? Chances are you can't tell me because ads go wherever there's space left over after the news. And they then fill the ads around the blank space around the news. There's no give or guarantee exactly where your ads are going to show. So consumers don't know where to go and look you up on a consistent basis. How about yellow pages? Do you even know where that big thick yellow book is? Do you know where it is right now? Do you even have one in your home or office? I would say that you probably don't unless it's been propping a door open or something, or used by the kids to boost them up at the table. But these days it's not even the big yellow book, and it's an ever shrinking book. You know the joke. Why are yellow pages like nursing homes? It's because they're usually used by people over 75 and they're very expensive. Is your target market over 75 years old? If they're not, there may be a better way of you spending your marketing pounds than advertising yellow pages. Each one of these items I call an attempt at advertising, whether it's yellow pages, whether it's newspaper, or whether it's TV advertising. These are all attempts. There are other advertising attempts as well, that older methods that local businesses are still trying to use. If you're using posters or park benches, billboards, or even advertising on the side of the bus, all these things are called attempts at advertising. And the reason why we call them attempts is because you're putting your marketing message where you hope people will see it at the exact time that they need your products or services, or remember to write it down or to save it for the exact time when they need your service. And the chances of this being very effective are greatly reduced, and that's why local businesses are struggling today. Because there are other options that we have available as a consumer to find the information about the products and services of businesses we want services from. And some people go to an extreme length of trying to put their marketing message where they think they've got your undivided attention. And I don't know about you, but the last time I was in a toilet, I didn't have a pen and paper with me to take down any information. So what can you as a local business owner do to get ahead of the competition and absolutely dominate it? And that's where we're going to spend the rest of our time. As I said earlier, local search, there are over 3 billion monthly searches, and 20% of all searches contain a local term. Now, how do you get your information in front of these people that are searching for you? First of all, we have to look at your website and make sure that it has the right information, has the right calls to action, so that when people do find your website on the first page of search engines, that you have the right action for them to take. Your website is just a small part of the equation. You see, most businesses think, well, I've got a website, people can find me. But the chances are they can't find you because there's competition for getting your information in front of those people when they're actively searching for it. Let's talk about some other ways they may be even more effective than worrying about your website. The first one of those is looking at local and mobile searches. Most local and mobile searches are done utilising smartphones and navigation systems. 82% of local searches are followed by an action, and that can be a store visit, a call, an email, or a purchase. So it's very important to have your information in a way that people can consume it when they are looking for you. You see, mobile is the gateway for you to develop the most intimate relationship with your customers by adding value for your customers. Getting your website and your information in front of the customers at the right place, at the right time, and in just the right way. And this is called local mobile discovery. And there are two ways of looking at it. One is a browser-based local search. So if you're using an iPhone, you'll be using Safari. If you have an Android device, you'll be using Google Chrome. Back in 2012, Google said that 50% of mobile search is local, which now today equates to over 30 billion local searches a year. So how do you get your information correct and make sure that it gets found? Well, the first thing you need is to have a mobile website. Now, some business owners say, if I search on my mobile phone, my website pops up, and that's good enough so people can find it. But if you look at the website on the left, you can't see the phone number. You don't even know how to get hold of them. You'd have to pinch and zoom and scroll in order to find your way around the website. Now, the same company having a mobile website, which is represented on the right, has the very most important information easily findable so that people looking for it can find it on their mobile device and go on and make a contact with the business. Because if you're looking in vain for a service, you're looking for a certain information that you expect to find on a website, especially if you're a regular mobile phone or smartphone user. And that is the phone number, the directions, the business hours. And so having it easy to find on a mobile website is vitally important. And I'm often asked, is a mobile site, is it really worth doing? And the answer is yes. And that's because there are some very interesting statistics when it comes to looking at mobile sites. First of all, 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their phone or smartphone. And of those searching, the majority of customers will abandon the mobile site if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. And yet 86% of mobile sites are as big as their desktop versions. And what this means is it takes them just as long to open, and even when they do open, navigation is clunky and slow. So if this is you, chances are you are losing business every day simply for that one reason. So yes, it definitely is worth it. And Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turn to their competitor's website after a bad mobile website experience. So don't put yourself in a position to lose customers to the competition. Put yourself in a position to dominate the local area, dominate your competition by being ahead of the curve with a mobile optimized website, and grab new customers directly from your competition. But wait, there's even more. When it comes to local mobile search, the next step is to look at app-based local search. Now, this isn't necessarily having a mobile app for your business, but mobile consumers spend roughly 80% of their time searching in apps for local businesses, according to Nielsen. So what do you use to search for local businesses on your phone, your browser, or an app? If you're using anything other than Safari or Chrome, the chances are you're using an app to search for local businesses. You see, 50% of smartphone owners use apps for local search, and according to ComScore, apps like Google Maps, Yahoo, MapQuest, Yale.com, Yelp, Superpages, CitySearch, UrbanSpoon and others are being used hundreds, if not thousands of times a day in your local area. And ask yourself this, if someone is searching for your business, your products, your services, would you like them to have the chance to find your one website or to find you on 5, 10 or 15 different websites? Lots of opportunities to get that customer through to your information. You see, today, it's like people have a number of telephone directories in their pocket. And if you had the ability to look in just one directory, or you had the opportunity to look in 10 or 15 directories, which one would you choose? Which one do you think it's the most important to be listed in? Well, of course, it's important to be listed in all of them. And it's not just good enough to be listed in them. You have to be listed in just the right way. You have to make sure that there is certain information in all of them, and it's done in a very specific way, and every one of them has the same information consistently across the board. Or you might as well not have any listings at all, because you're going to be at the bottom of the pile and your competition is going to be seen as standing on top of you and getting their information seen above yours. So you need to create a very systematic way to not only claim the listings for each of these directories, but to constantly update them, and also have your customers give you positive reviews on these sites in order to optimize and elevate your listings in the directories. If you're not claiming these directories and you're not managing what people are saying about you and your business online, then who is? Mobile local search equals sales, because 79% of local searches convert to a sale in the very same day. And with restaurants, it actually converts to a sale within the same hour. So one of the best ways to make sure people can find you locally is with Google+. Now, if you've gone onto Google lately and done a search for a type of business in your area, a map pops up with pinpointed business locations on it. Google is literally putting businesses on the map. So what you need to do is, whether you're a pizza parlour, a hairdresser, a dentist, a chiropractor, whatever type of business you are, you need to make sure your information can be found on Google+, so that when people do a search for information in your city, your business shows up. This is an example of Google results page. When you search for a business in a city, and I've used an American city here because they tend to be more populated, the map comes up showing the pinpointed business closest to your location. Then there's what's called the 7-pack, which has now been shortened to the 3 listings and called the snack pack, which is a list of the top 3 Google Plus results. Now, if you're number 4, 5 or 10, guess what? You don't show up on this page. And that's why it's so important for your information to be as complete as possible, so you have a better chance of showing up on the first page in the snack pack. Well, how do you do that, I ask? On your Google Plus listing, you need to be sure to include even the most basic information. So your business address, your phone number, your website. And if you can, have your client and business partners leave reviews and comments. If you're doing a great job, your customers will want to put their good reviews about you and the great job you're doing. So finally, you want to make sure to have photos and videos uploaded as well, so it gives more power to your Google Plus ranking. These are just some of the things you need to do to make sure Google can find you. The other aspect of looking at this is reviews. If you'll notice on this page, there are people that have star reviews and some that don't. And there's a certain number of reviews that you must get in order for your star listing to show up. If you're looking at this group, which one of these businesses is going to get your attention? Probably the ones that have the star rating, not the ones that don't have a star rating. And whenever people hover over the 3-pack, it actually gives them a tab so they can hover over and get more information from your Google Plus page on their screen, like directions, the phone number, your address, your hours, and this updates every day. And when you put your information about your daily operating hours or when you're open and close, it shows them if you're open and closed based on the time they're looking. Now, this is a really easy way of getting ahead of your competition, especially if you're a website or phone-based business. By extending your opening hours, it may show your competition closed and you open, and that's more likely to get you a click. So it also shows them reviews, and it also shows them other things people have searched for. So it's critical that not only do you get reviews, but you get all of this information complete on your listing, so it gives you the best chance of standing out. And that's just one way to get your business to show up on the first page of search engines. Another way is called pay-per-click. This is using Google AdWords so that you have your ad show up on the first page, and then you just pay a fee every time your advert is clicked on. And the way it looks is like this. So if we go back to the search results we did earlier, if you look at the top 3 results are paid search. Now, Google never used to show this, but now people see a little yellow ad square next to the listing. On the right hand side, there's other paid advertisements that typically don't get as much attention as the one on top of the page. Nevertheless, it is a way to ensure that your information is going to show up on the first page of the search results when someone is searching for your type of business in your city. Now, if you look at the lower right hand corner, you'll see an advert for Upstate Smiles. And if we blow that up, there's something very different about this listing from the others. And that is the star rating actually shows up in their pay-per-click ad. How did that happen? It's because they have a good rating and they have a number of reviews that Google actually goes and posts their rankings in their Google Plus local page and puts it in their ad. And it's like getting extra real estate on the page without having to pay for it. It shows the address and it shows the star review in the ad. The others don't have it. Only Upstate Smiles does. Pay-per-click advertising gives you the ability to cut short the system to get your information on the front page of search engines, but you have to pay every time somebody clicks on your ad. Now, we've all heard of social media. There's tons and tons of places out there. What should you do about it? How to use social media? What difference does it make? Other things we hear a lot from business owners is who cares? There are over 2 billion people online, and 93% of customers expect the companies they buy from to have a presence on social media, and 85% expect the companies to interact with them on social media. So it's more important than ever that you take advantage of these resources that are available to you. You see, most of the time, whenever people think of social media, they think of Facebook and Twitter. And the reason is because all these other places just seem so completely overwhelming. So we're going to walk through exactly how to get the best of the two big boys on the block and how the other ones factor into the equation. It's all about interconnectivity. Between all of these sources and all of these sites and everything you do online, it creates an overwhelming presence. What do Ashton Kutcher and Ellen DeGeneres have in common? They have more Twitter followers than the population of Ireland, Norway and Panama. They could probably tell everyone to jump up and down and stomp to the left, and you'd actually feel the earth move just a little bit. It's an exaggeration, but you get the point. And we've all heard of the saying, what happens in Vegas stays on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. So what if we can identify hundreds of people in your area that actively look for information about your products and services? What if we can position you as an expert? How would we go about doing that? Well, let's look at this. If you need to buy a drill, what is it that you really want? Do you want torque? Do you want variable speed? Or do you want durability? Or do you want a combination of all of them? Actually, what we found is that most people are looking to buy a drill. They don't want any of these things. What they really want is a hole. If you want to position yourself as an expert in this area, what should you do? Well, the simple thing to do is to teach people how to make a hole. By teaching them how to make a hole, if you happen to sell drills, it will lead them to buy a drill from you. Now, this is an oversimplistic approach, but it's exactly what you need to do whenever it comes to your marketing message, whenever you're dealing with people online. The more you can share with them, the more that you can help them understand, not only will benefit your products and services, but exactly how working with you will help them achieve exceptional results is going to benefit your business. You see, all this happens in a 4-step process. The first step is connection. They have to find you online and be able to connect with you. The second is to provide them with content, whether that's on your website or whether it's on a social media platform. No matter where it is, they have to receive content from you in order to make a decision whether or not you're the person, your business, that they want to work with and purchase a product or service. After that, you have to capture their information, because without that, there's not really any way for you to continue the conversation. And once you've done these 3 things and you've built what I call a know I can trust you factor, then and only then will you be able to collect money from them. And when we talk about social media, the biggest player on the block is Facebook. And why is that? There are over 1 billion people who use it. So since everyone is there, it's also where you need to be. You can create a fan page for your business on Facebook just like you can for a personal page. Some people get all concerned about this and saying, I don't want my personal information online. But the fact is, you don't have to. You can create a standalone business page. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Coca-Cola fan page here, it's not even owned by Coca-Cola. This fan page was created by a couple of guys who absolutely loved the drink, and they created the Coca-Cola fan page. Now, as you can imagine, to begin with, Coca-Cola were very upset about this, and it was actually trying to sue them to have them remove it. After they got to looking at it and saw how positive it was, they actually left it alone because it was doing their job of advertising for them. If you look at it, there are over 90 million people who like the Coca-Cola fan page, so it's a brilliant thing for them. So what does it do for you? How can you do this as a business owner? Again, if we look at the American market, where they do seem to be ahead of us and been doing this sort of thing for years, if we look at this plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, it's a good example of promoting a business without selling. Now, you can do that a little bit, you can do a little bit of selling, but what you want to do is make sure that 80% of your content is information that people can utilize whether they choose to do business with you or not. And it's also then information they're more likely to share with their friends to get you more followers and grow your business that way. So there are some things you want to do in order to make sure that you're promoting the solution rather than promoting yourself. One of the ways that Dr. Perlman here does it is if you look at the banner across the top and his icon, it's showing images of the results that people would like to achieve. So it's showing smooth skin, it's showing a young girl instead of showing the doctor. That's utilized every time it's posted. The image shows up and it shows the image of the beauty time and time again, which is why most people are looking for a plastic surgeon. The other thing is about the About Us section. Dr. Perlman doesn't just leave it to where it's just a few words on his page. He actually has a video there that welcomes people to his page and shares with them exactly what they're going to be receiving. As I mentioned before, he shares not only about plastic surgery procedures and so forth, but information that would be useful to the type of person that's going to visit his page. So in this case, he shared a post about using almond milk as the best milk for weight loss. So don't put yourself in a position of just saying, buy my stuff, buy my services, come in my store, buy my stuff. You have to share information that people will find useful whether they choose to do business with you or not. And in this case, over 109,000 people actually like the Beverly Hills plastic surgery. Another thing you can do now with Facebook, which is relatively new, is you can actually have a Facebook store. And that is having it so that people, when they come to your page, can only interact with your page. They can click on an icon and go and buy things straight off you from Facebook. Now, if you're a business that sells physical products, this could be a great way to have people buy from you without them even having come to your website or your shop. So with Facebook, you can also advertise on Facebook with Facebook ads. Now, the difference with Facebook ads as opposed to pay-per-click advertising is that with pay-per-click, you're putting your information in front of people based on what they're looking for. With Facebook advertising, you're putting your information or your advert in front of the demographic that you choose to be your best prospect. Imagine if you're a wedding photographer and you could put your advert in front of a bunch of people who are walking around with a big sign around their neck saying, I'm engaged. That would be a pretty good prospect audience to get your advert in front of. Well, that's exactly what you can do with Facebook, because people load in information into Facebook many times a day, and Facebook knows everything about them. So for adverts, you could first pick women, or you could pick women that are engaged, and then you could go on to pick women that are engaged between the age of 24 and 30. And that is the people that you would put your advert in front of. It gives you a very effective strategy and a very low cost effective way of getting people to see your message. So the way these ads show up is you'll see them on the right hand side. Very similar format to Google's pay-per-click advertising. However, in this case, you're actually able to put an image in your advert, which is very important as Facebook is all about pictures. And you're also able to put the image along with a description of what your ad's about and what you'd like your customers to do. So the call to action, the read more, learn more, click here, buy now if you must. And so it allows them to click on the information, and then that will take them to your website or to your fan page. But it also shows then to their friends when they like your business. So it creates a viral advert. So the green box in the middle is what's referred to as a newsfeed ad, and that's having your ad show up in the middle of the newsfeed or the Facebook page of the person you're targeting. The one that shows up in the middle of the page allows people to like it, allows people to comment on it, and allows people to share it. So again, the more that is commented on and shared, the more people that will see your ad. And just like on Google, when someone clicks on your ad, you're going to be charged a fee for every time they click. So you want to make sure wherever you're sending the person to when they click on your ad, it's got a very strong call to action, that you can share your good information, get your message across to them, but more importantly capture their information so you can continue the relationship with them, and you're able to set that parameter of what you're willing to pay each time somebody clicks on your ad. So with Facebook's ad, like I said, it's not targeted. In fact, we're not putting it in front of people who are searching on Google for a certain thing. We're putting it in front of people that you believe are your custom audience. So how far and how precise can you get with the targeting? So let's go back to the example of the plastic surgeon. Let's say he was looking to put an ad on Facebook. So he could set the geography within 30 miles of his office. He could select the date range between 35 and 60. He could obviously target women. He could select women who are married. He could select women who had been to university, women with an interest in fitness and wellness, shopping, fashion. Their behaviours could include health and beauty, cosmetics, vitamins and spa treatments. And they would have an income level of over £50,000 a year and be a homeowner. So that's very, very specific targeting in front of his, or trying to put his advert in front of what he believes to be his target market. Not only that, but after they click on your ad and see your information, you can drop a pixel, which is like a tiny little tag, onto their computer, which then allows your ads to follow them. So have you ever noticed if you go to a website and then perhaps go back onto Facebook, sometimes the exact information you've been searching for is now showing up in your newsfeed on Facebook. And what happens is whenever they click on the ad, it drops a little pixel on their computer. So the next time they go back to Facebook, your ad gets priority and gets put in front of them. And this is called retargeting. So a retargeted ad will show up over and over again. And this is really important. Why? Because the more they see your ad, the more chances of then coming back to your website and taking action. And retargeting is a really cheap way of advertising your business in front of not only your exact market, but people have now shown a slight interest and gone on to visit your website. The other big boy on the block is Twitter. Now, some people, some businesses I speak to think Twitter is a waste of time, but I can tell you it isn't. And certainly don't tell that to Curtis Kimball, because I think he'll argue with you. He's the owner of the Creme Brulee cart in San Francisco. Now, he started the Creme Brulee cart and joined Twitter in 2009. And you see, Curtis knew that 53% of people that use Twitter are happy to recommend companies or products in their tweets. So what difference did that make to Curtis? So he started off with one little Creme Brulee cart that he would set up in different places in the city at different times and locations. And that's the only way people would know where he is. And so they have to look on Twitter to see if he's in their local area or where he was if they want to go to him. Now, since that happened, if you look at his Twitter page now, he has over 23,000 followers, and he's grown from one cart to 3 full-blown food vans, and they're stationed at different places at different times around the city. So he still uses the exact same strategy that he used to start his business to grow his business. So Twitter has to make sense for your business. And as a business owner, you can customize your Twitter account, you can share information with people just like you do on Facebook. So Twitter is another area for you to have information. And why do this?
because the more places you have information, the more places your information shows up, the more powerful it makes your overall online presence, and the more elevates you in the eyes of the search engines. What are the other things you can do to position yourself as an expert? Well, one of them is to have a look at things from your customer's point of view, not just your point of view. And that's because people are going online to get answers to questions. How can you answer their questions? Well, there's a number of ways. One way is you can create a video that answers questions that people are looking for. So in this example, this is a chiropractor answering the question, what is the popping sound when I stretch my neck or back? Now this video has over 100,000 views, and it was actually led to the doctor being asked by a TV show to come on and talk about the use of social media and growing a practice. So by simply creating a video, that answers a question, he has immediately built authority with himself. In your business, if a local TV company asked you to come on and do an interview tomorrow, do you think that might build your credibility in your local area? Do you think that might get you some inquiries? Of course it would. So use YouTube as your own free TV channel. So when people go online, less than 15% actually trust the online advertising. They might click on an advert, they might buy the product, but the trust in the advert is for people who 15% or less believe it. But over 90% of people believe their peers with comments and recommendations. The fact is, if it's online, then what do we say? It must be true, right? So how are you going to attract them to your business? As I said, one of the ways you can do that is by giving them content on YouTube. So YouTube is now the second largest search engine there is behind Google, and it's well ahead of say Yahoo and Bing. So what do you make your videos about? Well, you help people find answers. So you help them find answers to frequently asked questions. So if you're a business owner, you know the questions that you're frequently asked. So think about the last 5 telephone inquiries you had, or perhaps the last time that you met somebody new and you told them what you did, and they always ask those obvious questions. Those are the questions you need to turn into a video. The other type of questions that you need to create a video for are the questions people should be asking. So these are the questions that once you have somebody on the phone or it's an inquiry, that they ask you just before they make the decision to use you or not. So for example, if I was a plumber, the frequently asked questions I may get are, why is my boiler making a clunking noise? Why has my pilot light gone out? What to do when my pilot light goes out? So those are the frequently asked questions that I could do videos on to explain what's happening, to explain what the simple solution for them to fix themselves is, but also why they probably should call out a professional. Well, the should ask questions might then be, how much does a plumber charge to come out of hours? And you could explain that, a good plumber won't charge, if it's a simple fix, he'll probably charge you for the first hour, and you can explain your pricing. So you can sell yourself as an authority and answer the questions and turn the viewer into a customer just by doing videos of frequently asked questions and should ask questions. Whenever you create your video, there are certain things that you need to do in order to give it the best chance of being found, and we call this video optimization. So obviously you're going to load your video up into YouTube, so your main search term or keyword or question should be in the headline. Always put your telephone number in the video title as well. Make sure that at the very first point of the comments or description you put a link through to your website. So make it really easy for people to contact you once they've watched your video. Now if you look at this example here, this is the first page results of the search engine for the research pre-owned sports car. Now you can see that the video shows up in the first page of the search engine. So if you were to look at this page, where do your eyes get drawn to? Well, Perhaps you might once scan over the advert on the top right for shelter logic enclosure kits, but then your eyes are going to be drawn to the video, which is halfway down the first page. And when you go to look at the video, what's there? Well, it's a car dealer telling you the most important things to do when buying a car. So if you're looking to buy a pre-owned sports or exotic car, what do you want to know? It's what are the things you need to look for to make sure you're getting the best deal. Now, once you have your video done and it's on YouTube, it doesn't stop there. Remember, the more places we put your information, the better chance we have of people finding it. And this is what we call systematic distribution. So you can take your video and you can put it onto video sites, but you can also put it onto your social bookmarking sites. You can put it on your social networks like Facebook and Twitter. You can put it on a blog. You can obviously put it on your website. You can make a podcast out of it. You can put the podcast in podcast directories, and then you can tie them all together and intermingle them, so it gives you an overwhelming presence with every video or with every blog post that you put online. And I think you can see from what we've talked about, the more you have out there, the better your chances. Imagine this, right now if you're not showing up online, people can't find you. But what if your information was to show up in front of, say, 200 to 300 people every month that are currently searching for you and can't find you? What would happen? Do you think there's any chance that any of them will choose you over your competition? If they did, are you in a position to know where your information is set up, so if they did find you, that they would be able to know how to call or what action you wanted them to take? Would they be in a position to be able to actually contact you, to do business with you? Or is your information not going to give them what they need, so they will go to your competition? All of these steps, all of them combined, become very powerful for you as a local business. Now just imagine having all these things put in place. What would it do for you? What would it look like? Well, to begin with, here's the advantage of online marketing for local businesses. It makes you credible. It increases referrals. You'll be able to build new relationships. You can even demand higher prices. Gives you outstanding visibility. It builds familiarity. It allows you to create trust, and you can offer your products and services, and you're perceived as the expert. What if all of this was combined? What would it do for you? Well, it keeps you top of mind with every person that sees your information, and that's the best chance of success that you can have in being the first person they think about when they think about your product or service. So what do you need to do now? Well, the next step is to integrate all of these elements so they amplify each other. Search engines, video, social media, mobile marketing, all of it. Now this can be a little bit overwhelming, but there is some good news, and that is I want to show you how you can do all of that without any extra work on your part. So step one is we need to create a blueprint for exactly what's happening in your business at the moment and where we need it to be and how these things will be implemented. So we can do a complete marketing assessment to determine which elements are right for you and your business based on your situation with what you're currently doing at your location and online. And we're going to show you how to do this with zero extra work on your part. Look, I understand you're a busy professional. Hopefully you're very busy at work through the day, and so the last thing you need when you get home is to have to worry about going online for hours, monitoring and updating a bunch of websites. Your work is better suited serving your customers, and that's where your true value is. So lastly, we'll set up a plan so you're able to measure the results. So what's the next step? How do you get all this started? Well, just fill in the information below so that we can be contacted, and we'll have a walkthrough and dig into your business and look at exactly what is the right fit for you going forward. Now, if you choose not to request us to look at your business and its online presence, then I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, and I hope you've gained some valuable insights that you can spend time implementing in your business. Thank you for attending, and I wish you luck with your online success.